Are you ready for some fun? Today we're going to make a laced Christmas stocking. Do you know why it's called a laced stocking? Because just like shoelaces, when you go through the holes with a piece of yarn, you're lacing around the stocking. This is so fun. So let's get started. So here's what you need to make the Christmas stocking. You need a piece of white paper. You also need 2 pieces of colored paper. I like to use red for a Christmas stocking, but you can choose another color if you want. But you need to have 2 pieces of paper, okay? You also need to have a pencil, a hole punch, some scissors, some yarn, any color of yarn is fine, some glue, you can use regular glue or a glue stick, and you might want some tape also. Okay, to start, we're going to take the colored paper, make sure that both pieces of paper are lined up together, and we'll draw the stocking. What I like to do is use the straight edge of the long side of the paper for part of the stocking. That will be the back of the stocking, and then I'm going to make the little bottom part curve around like this, all right? And then I'm going to come up to the top, and we don't want it to be too skinny, so I'm going to come more than halfway over. I'm going to make a little line like that, and I'm going to come straight down as best I can, all the way down, more than halfway, probably about that much, and then I'm going to curve it around for the stocking, come all the way around and make it round like this. Okay. Do you see how that looks like a stocking? Now I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to need to keep both of them together so that I can cut them out and they'll be the same size. So if you need someone to help you with this, then that would be a good idea. But you got to hold on to it carefully to cut both papers together at the same time. So let me get my scissors. Okay, now I've got my scissors. I'm going to cut. I'm going to start with the straight part here at the top, and I'm going to cut down all the way. Remember to be very careful with scissors. And come around the curve. Cut around. And come and cut this little part. There! Look how big that is. Now, I'm going to show you, I have 2. We cut them the exact same size because they were together when I cut them. I'm going to put them back together now. Okay, to make the white part that goes at the top of the stocking, I'm going to fold my paper in half because we want 2 of the white pieces that go on here, and when we want to cut them out together, it's good to have 2 pieces of paper, and we don't need them very long, so we're going to use this. Okay, now, do you see how the white is just a little bit bigger than the red? So I'm going to make it so that I'm lining this up right here so that the white is a little bit on this side, and then I want to decide how far down I want it to go. It doesn't have to be very far, but I'm going to make a little line about where I want it to be, okay, on both sides. All right, so do you see how I've got that little line? Now it might be helpful to fold that paper where the lines are so that you can see really easily where you want to cut. You see that? So that means that I can cut straight across. Oh, pencil, you are trying to dance. I can cut straight across like this. And then, remember we want 2, so now I've got this line in the middle, and I can cut right along that line. And now I have 2 pieces of white, one for each side. All right. Now, another way that I could have cut it was to put it on here, and I could draw around. I could decide where I want it, and on the paper I could draw down a little bit on both sides, and then decide how far I wanted to come down, and it would look like that. And then I would need to draw it across here using a ruler, or I could fold it like this. So that's another way, because yours might be a different size. You can do it either way, and then you just cut it out. We just need to make sure that we have 2, so make sure you've got 2 layers of your paper. Okay, I'm gonna put this over here, and now I don't need the scissors anymore, but I do need the glue. I think I'll use the glue stick. Now this is what we got to do. You see how we have both of these stockings going the same way? What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them out this way. So it looks like I've got 2 feet. 2 feet. Okay, they need to be going opposite directions for this to work. If you have them the same direction, it's not going to work. So make sure that they're pointing in opposite directions, okay? Now, what I need to do is put some glue on each of these so that they will fit on here, okay? Now, what I think I will do is put a little bit of glue in the middle, not out to the edges, but in the middle, okay? Just in the middle, so that it's not quite to the top. And then I'm going to bring this here, and I'm going to line it up with the top, and the edges might go over a little bit, and I'm going to stick it on like that. Okay? Then I'm going to do it on the other side. I'm going to put some glue on this, but not quite to the edges. I'm just going to put it more in the middle. Okay. Always put the lid on your glue stick. Then I'm going to put it on here, line it up so that it goes to the top. And remember that it can go over the edges. What you want to do is make sure that these are as close to the same way on each one. So if I turn these this way, do you see how it looks the same on both? Now the fun starts when we put them together. If we did it right, then we can put them together so they line up and there is the white on both sides. All right, so we want to keep these together. I'm going to put this away. Now we need the hole punch. Now this is something that you may need to have someone help you do, because you've got to hold it together plus be able to punch the holes. So it might be good to have you hold it and have an adult punch the holes if it's hard for you to do both. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to punch holes around the edge. We don't want it to be really close to the edge. It needs to come in a little bit like this, okay? So I'm going to start at the top, but I don't want to be right at the top. I want to be down a little bit, okay? And I'm making sure that my papers are together so that the holes will be in the same place on both sides. So we're going to punch a hole, 1. Ooh, that takes a lot of muscles to push, so I think it might be good to have an adult help you. Okay, I'm going to come down probably about 1 inch, and I'm going to punch another hole. You see that? And I'm going to keep going all the way. We don't need the holes to be too close, so I'm going to leave about 1 inch between each hole. But I'm going to come in to the sides a little bit so that it's not too close to the edge. And I'm going to do that all the way around. Do you see that? Now we need the yarn and the scissors. And what we're going to do is decide how long to do the yarn. So this is the way that I think is the easiest. If you start it at the top of one side and you kind of bring it around, make sure it doesn't come down from the top, kind of bring it around the edge of the stocking, and this might be something that you can have someone help you do, okay? Just so you can see the length of your stocking. If you've got it around, then you actually want to double that. So once you have that, you just hold on to the yarn and then you cut it off. All right. So we'll have this yarn here. We don't need this yarn. We don't need the scissors, but we do need some tape. Now, sometimes it's nice to have tape on the edge, and this is where you might want to have an adult help you. So you take a little piece of tape and you just put it on the edge and try to make it really tight around that, because when you have some tape on the end, it's really easy to put it through the holes. Okay, for the first hole, we're going to go down the top hole of the white part, and we're going to bring it all the way through and pull it until we're almost at the end. We don't want to pull it all the way through. We want to have a little bit here because we're going to tie a knot. And so I'm going to tie it at the top, and I'm going to tie it again so that it is a nice little knot, just like that. Now we have a long piece of yarn, and we're going to go to the next hole. Now this can be a little tricky, but here's what we got to remember. We're always going to go down the hole. So I'm going to go down the next hole. We want to keep it away from the rest of the yarn. As we're pulling it, it kind of makes a loop. We don't want to come up through that loop. We want to have our yarn coming down this way. All right? And then as I'm pulling it, I want to make sure that it's over to the side here. And that way, it makes a little line like this. All right? Now, the yarn is underneath. I want to always come up on the top and make it go down in the hole, and then I want to pull it away from this part so it doesn't get caught, so that that little loop can come down. And then, do you see how it makes another line like that? And we're going to do that all the way across. We're going to go down the holes and pull them away from the yarn. So down the hole, grab the yarn, pull it away from the rest of the yarn. Go to the next hole, down the hole, pull it away from the yarn, and keep going. Okay, when we get to the very last hole, then we want to make another little knot. We're going to go back down the hole, and this time we're going to hold on to this little loop, and we're going to bring the yarn up through it like that. And then I can make another little loop-de-loop by coming back under what I just did and making another little knot going back through the hole. Okay, that might be something that you want to have an adult help you with. Now I have a little extra yarn here, so I could make a loop to hang it with. So I could hold it like this and then make a little knot by tying it like at the end. Okay, I want to make sure that my loop stays there. And then see, I could hang it like that. Now you have this extra piece that's got the tape, and we want to cut that off. So let me get my scissors, cut that off. And then you can also cut off the extra on the very other side, on the top where you started. Okay? So there's our stocking. Now you can color it, you can write your name, or decorate it, but here's what's fun. If you take the top and you go like this, you see how it's like a pocket, just like a stocking, where you could put something inside. It's fun sometimes to make pictures or roll up paper and stick them in. So you can do whatever you want. You could make a treat for someone, and this is a fun little Christmas craft. So now it's your turn to make a laced stocking. Have a lot of fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye.